Hey guys, so on today's episode, we're going to be doing a custom build for our Salmon Pink Birdeater. We will be looking for a name for her near in the future. So if you have some name suggestions, make sure you drop them down in the comments. This is a ZooMed 6-gallon creatures tank. I really like these because they're the same footprint as a 20-gallon high, I believe it is. Except for they're only 6 or 8 inches high. Or tall, sorry. Very short. Perfect for most tarantulas because they do need more floor space than they do need height. Just kind of going to remove the sticker here. And we're going to try something a little different today. We're going to mix our rainforest mixed soil with a bunch of our springtail clay, because I'd really like to try and build a little cave for her to live in without any form of wood at all. So I'm just going to take the rainforest clay, or rainforest mix, sorry, and I'm going to mix in a whole bunch of the springtail clay. This should, once we mix it all together, lab coat is not going to come in handy on this part. Should be able to add some water to it and have it hold form a little bit better than just standard soil would. I have done this in the past with excavator clay. If you're interested, we can do a video on that. Let us know in the comments again. But this is our springtail clay, and it's just a little bit more economical for us, and I find that it works a lot better. It has less sand to it. We're just going to mix it all in nicely. And I'm hoping that if we pack it all down, I gotta be careful because of my table. Hoping that if I make a mound here, that I can dig it out a little bit, which should probably moisten it first. That might have been a good idea. Could be a little bit too much water. Find out. So salmon pinks are found in Brazil, so I kind of wanted to do a subtropical style environment for her to make her feel a little bit more at home and make it a little bit different than my typical builds, because I'm always looking for different ways to do something naturalistic for our animals, give people inspiration. And honestly, a lot of my inspiration comes from you guys. Seeing builds that you do on Facebook or Instagram. That's where I learn a lot of this stuff from. Inspiration from every possible angle. This might not work out as well as I was hoping, but we're going to find out. I could have probably gone with a cup, build around a cup like you do with excavator clay or a tube. And that would have worked a lot better than what is happening currently. But it's holding form reasonably well, I think. I just want to make it a little bit deeper so that hopefully she can fit all the way in inside and still feel secure. So hopefully that works for her. It's not quite full-sized yet, but I'm going to give it a little bit of a light misting on the surface. Just because, honestly, this is the first time I'm trying this in this application. I've tried it in many other ways, but I've never tried it in a full subtropical setting like this is going to be. So we're testing things together and learning as we go, because that's what the hobby's all about. Trial and error, as long as it doesn't put animals' lives at risk. I'm all for it. We're gonna take our just standard mix and add it to the other half of the tank and spread it out. You'll see that there's a slight color difference, but not major by any means. The front's gonna need a bit of a touch up. I'm gonna save some soil for after. I've picked out a peperomia happy bean to go in here. They aren't super moisture loving, but they should tolerate enough moisture that it'll do well in here. We will find out over the course of the next couple weeks. So I'm just kind of crushing the root ball a little bit to loosen up the roots from the pot that it was so tightly packed into. Get a little bit of the perlite and other fun stuff off the top. And then I think I'm going to add it kind of in front of the cave, but off to the side, just like that. And I'm going to take the rest of our soil, I'm going to spray it, put it down, and sort of, I don't like the soil being too high in the front, but I do want all the roots at least partially covered. But I think with a semi-covered opening like that, the animal might feel more secure. I also pulled out some frog moss from Jurassic, because we had a few containers of it laying around. I don't know how well this stuff does long-term in setups, but again, trial and error. We're going to see. I'm going to take some scissors and cut it to fit on top of our cave here. A little bit nicer. Don't overly want it to stick over, but I would like it to kind of create a cap, because if it does grow back, perfect. If not, it'll turn into a feeding spot for something. The springtails will probably live in it, or hopefully we'll introduce some ficus or something down the road to kind of grow around and add just some different leaf textures and colors to the tank overall. But I think that doesn't look terrible. Could be totally wrong. Hoping it doesn't look terrible. Got a couple of other botanics, like this ram's horn, I believe it's called, that we're going to be using in here. Just as something to sort of add something different to the setup. We've also got a couple of variable sized leaves that I thought might add a different kind of aesthetic than what we're typically used to. So the tank is pretty dirty right now, but that's going to end up getting cleaned shortly after, once I kind of get everything in. These are also from Jurassic. They call them rainforest leaves. Not really sure how I feel about them. They're pretty green still, but I think they might add a little bit of a tropical feel, hopefully, without looking too unnatural. They are some sort of natural leaf. I think they were just picked a little bit early. So I wanted to add a couple of pieces of those around the setup. And then I do have a couple of other botanics that we're just going to randomly kind of toss in for just texture variances and more of a natural appearance to things. A natural feel, I guess you could say. I try to do most botanics in odd numbers, depending on what it is. The big leaves ended up with 2, just because that's what fits the build. But with these little, I don't actually know what these are, these weird little nutshell pods, I'm gonna end up putting 5 in, just to kind of keep it on the odd numbers rather than the evens. I do have a different style of leaf that I like adding. These guys come from a company called 520 Boost. He calls them nano leaves. And I really like these for filling in those little voids in between other leaves and just adding more of another dimension to your build and your kind of layers of textures. So I just sort of let them fall. Try to get them to fill in little spaces between the other leaves. Sort of like how it would be on the forest floor. Just let them lie wherever they fall, really. The spider is going to rearrange this, and I know that. So I'm not terribly worried about how things look, because it's going to end up with webs and probably not see half of it by the time it's done. But at first, for now, it's going to look nice. I'm going to like it, and then the salmon's going to decide what she likes. Potentially bury everything, potentially not bury anything, and just kind of wander around. So now we're just going to go through and spray a little bit, give everything a good soak, give our peperomia a good soak, let it settle in a little bit better. And after we do this good soaking of everything and spraying everything down, we're going to end up doing a wipe down of the glass just to get rid of all that, any extra dirt and stuff like that that might have decided to hang on and sit on the windows and things like that. So now just give it a quick wipe down. Notice there is a little bit of silicone stuck on the front here, which I will come back with a razor blade later. I just don't have one handy currently to scrape it off. And because we are the Bioactive guy, or more so, your local pill dealer, we're going to add some tropical white springtails, because I don't really want to deal with the controversy of isopods with tarantulas. I don't think it's a good thing typically, and I just don't want to deal with it. So we're going to add some tropical whites and just kind of sprinkle them in. Let them start to settle in and do their job. Keep things under control, keep things clean, and there we go. That's going to be done for now, and in a few days we will introduce our salmon pink, and we'll get some footage of that when we do it. Thanks, guys.